Quick demo on how to pull a shot of espresso with this coffee here. So I'd like to start by emptying out any grounds from previous use into the knock bucket. A couple knocks. Take brush. You can see got some grounds on the bottom of the grinder. Brush that all out. You don't really have to do this every time, but can't hurt. So, take that straight onto the scale. Bear this guy out. And I like to just pour straight in from the bag. Go into 18 grams for our double shot on the Breville Bambino Plus. And there we go, 18.1 is acceptable. Okay. Once again, this is the Ethiopia Layu from Uncommon Coffee Co. in Essex, Vermont. Okay. So I've already had this roast a number of times in the past, so I've kind of got my grind size dialed in. You can also see I'll do a few taps just to get any remaining beans down into the birds. Keep spinning. And since I've already did this grind before, I know I'm set to 0.6 on here, I believe. There you go, 0.6. Okay. So you're going to need following items: portafilter, your single-walled basket for double shot, tamper, and the razor leveling tool. Go ahead and clip the basket in, and then give this a couple more spins to make sure we got all the grounds. Now the messy part, give that a couple taps. Usually nothing comes off the bottom of the grinder, and then carefully pour the grounds in here so as to try to not spill any. Once I get it to about that full, you can see there's like a tiny bit left in there. Oops. Yeah, can't really see it, I guess, but there's a little bit left in there, so probably a gram or two. I do like to sort of give this a few gentle taps on the countertop, on the rubber mat, sort of level out grounds just a little bit, make a little more room to pour the rest of it in. Give this guy a few more taps to, I mean, now you can see, nope, still can't see. Okay, well, let's see here, there'll be some more grounds coming out from the catch. And now it is pretty emptied out. So at this point, you can just grab your leveling tool and sort of make sure it's all not on the edge of the basket. Okay. So it doesn't have to be perfectly level at this point. Just want to make sure it's not like spilling over the edges. So once we get to about here, a couple more taps to sort of level it out. And then at this point, we're good to go ahead. And you can see I'm not giving it a whole lot of pressure. What I've learned is that getting a level surface is more important than applying a lot of pressure. So I'm really like hardly applying any pressure here, to be honest with you. And this is going to vary up by the roast and the grind size, the freshness of your beans, the oiliness and other qualities of them. So I get to about there and give it a couple more taps, because if you look closely, you can see like around the edges, there's like some of it up on the wall, some of the grounds, so don't really want that. So a couple more taps to get some of that off the walls. Now if you look, looks a lot cleaner. Go ahead and, again, not really using a whole lot of pressure, but just sort of spinning and making sure that it's level all the way around. So at that point, I'd say it's good. I usually use the leveling tool just to be sure. I usually don't really get anything with the leveling tool. If I do exactly 18 grams or like 18.1, you can see like a tiny bit comes up on the leveling tool. Now you can see like a little bit came up with the leveling tool. So go back to the knock bucket, and then I'll usually just position this right over here, basically holding it at, you know, like an 80 to 90 degree angle. And then go around with the leveling tool, give it a couple little taps. Don't get too aggressive here, you don't want to dump your grounds into the knock bucket. Tamp just to level it all out, make sure it feels like it's level. And there we go. So now that is correctly dosed, it is correctly leveled out. Again, I did not really apply any pressure here. So bring this over here. Set this down for a second. Let me get my stand. Okay, so other things you're going to need, I always have a paper towel ready. I like to have the carafe out already, and let me get my mug. This mug is quite a bit larger than the carafe, but not enormous or anything. You know, pretty fair size. So, go ahead, you can hit any button here to turn this thing on. I'll blink at you a few times. Once you see all the indicator lights on their static settings, you're good to go ahead and put the portafilter in. We're going to quickly let it preheat. Actually, as soon as I see some steam coming out, I think it's about good. So, now I don't even dry that off or anything. Again, we're going to line up the handle with the insert right here. That should slide in nicely, and then just twist this to the right. So this takes a little bit of force to get it into position. It shouldn't, like, you know, it shouldn't be breaking your arm to do, but you can see it's lined up with the lock position. You can twist it further to the right. Should be counterclockwise if you're looking from the top down. I usually don't go crazy with that. I just line it up with the lock position. Seems good. Okay, so now we will set up right here and go ahead and always make sure that your water reservoir is above the minimum line, which is right here. It's not really going to focus for me, but anyway, we're at about half capacity in the reservoir. So go ahead and pull our shot. So I hit the double shot button, the one in the middle. And you can see it's going to start doing its thing. It'll be a slow trickle at first. And there we go. So that's looking pretty good. And it doesn't really matter if it comes out one side or the other, or, you know, mostly on one side or comes out evenly. What you're mostly looking for is the total volume and the extraction time. So there it goes. It's basically done. Usually give it a couple seconds to finish dripping here. And there you have it. So for cleanup, I like to get this out of the way and just show you really quick what this looks like. There's nice crema on top. Usually give it a bit of a swirl. Not super easy to see, but yeah, that looks like a pretty good shot. Okay. So at this point, I like to take the basket out. You can see there's like still some moisture in there. Don't really need to go crazy getting the rest of it out. What I like to do at this point is give it a couple shakes over the drip tray, bring it over to the knock box, and then usually like 1 to 2 good whacks will get the whole thing out, just like so. So the rest of that is probably going to go down the drain. Okay. So at this point, I will pop out the portafilter as such, just like so. Just grabbed it from from both ends and pulled around one of these depressions here. It pops out. Go ahead and rinse this. Rinse those. Set them to dry on the drying rack. Next thing I like to do is tear off a bit of paper towel, and then you can see there's going to be some grounds on the percolator. So what I like to do is just kind of wipe these down. You can see quite a bit comes off here, so just fold that over and wipe it a couple times. When it dries off a little bit later or before the next use, or maybe even just like once a week, hit this thing with your coffee brush. There we go. It's relatively clean now. Show you the percolator. There you go. You can see like around the rim there's like still some grounds up there, so that's why I like to hit it with the brush when it's totally dried. So you'll notice if you're using the carafe that comes with the machine, it's got 2 indentations on the back there. So I like to fill kind of anywhere in between those 2 lines. Got our Chobani extra creamy oat milk. It's the best of the best in my opinion. Give it a good quick shake, and then right between the 2 lines. There we go. So I don't fuss too much with the foaming settings. You can see I've got it on the middle setting for temp and the middle setting for foaminess. So just go ahead and we will lift up the wand, slide this under here, and then bring the wand back down now. The splash. I like to position it, you don't have to go crazy here. Just make sure that the bottom is covering the button, the temperature sensor button. The wand can be tapping up against the edge of the carafe, doesn't have to be. And then just hit this button, and that's it. So it'll do its thing. It's gonna be a little loud. Okay, and there we go. So, going to go ahead and put the wand away. Get our carafe off. Put this back down. It'll do its auto purge real quick. I usually like to wipe this down before I start the auto purge. Actually, foam off. And then press a paper towel. Add a little bit of water. The wand will be hot, by the way, so be careful when you're touching it. I like to wipe it down. And there you go. Go to your drip tray, clean off around the temperature sensor. Dry paper towel for this. And then I'll dry off the wand too. Dump out the drip tray and give it a rinse. And that is the whole process. There you go. And for the resulting product, you can see we got our carafe with milk here. I'm going to give it a little swirl just because I like to do that. And then we'll just add it right in. Beautiful. Okay, if you're really good, you can make some latte art. If not, that's your resulting product. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.